It was 7:42 a.m. when Detective Elena Mirek received the call. A murder high profile, impossible circumstances. The address, 36 Oakwood Place. A secluded estate on the outskirts of New Haven. The victim, Dr. Walter Greaves, a reclusive neuroscientist, with a mind as celebrated as it was enigmatic. When Elena arrived, the driveway was filled with patrol cars. The autumn wind scraped dried leaves along the pavement as the sun glinted weakly through gray clouds. The house was tall, narrow, and old Victorian Gothic, with gargoyles and wrought iron, the kind of place that begged for secrets. She was greeted at the door by Captain Dorian Flynn, grim-faced and sipping burnt coffee. "You're not going to believe this one," he said. "Try me," Elena replied. They led her to the study on the second floor. The door was locked from the inside, reinforced steel with a mechanical deadbolt. No windows were open. The only window, small and lattice-framed, was shut tight and sealed with paint from the inside. No hidden passages. No floorboards out of place. No air vents big enough to crawl through. But inside the study, Dr. Greaves lay slumped over his desk. A bullet wound clean through the forehead. A single .38 caliber shell sat in the wastebasket. The gun, nowhere to be found. Elena examined the door. It was a fortress. Heavy brass locks, solid hinges, and no sign of tampering. The security system was state-of-the-art, logging every entry and exit. The log showed, last entry, 10:06 p.m. Dr. Walter Greaves' last exit. None of the study was on the second floor, with only one narrow window barely large enough for a child to squeeze through. "No one came in or out," said Flynn. "Camera at the stairwell backs that up. Only person who entered that floor since last night was the maid who found the body at 7 this morning." Elena walked the perimeter. The body was already cold. The blood dried into the Persian rug. Time of death, somewhere between 10:30 p.m. and midnight. Elena glanced around the room. Bookshelves, a glow bar, an old grandfather clock, a desk with strewn notes, and a single coffee mug. No suicide note. No fingerprints on the shell casing. How was the door opened? "We had to break it down. Reinforced kick from 2 guys. Any other way in? None. No tunnels, no magic tricks, and no gun." Elena looked out the window. A 2-story drop onto solid ground. If someone escaped that way, they didn't leave a trace. A classic locked room mystery, and she hated classic mysteries. Dr. Evelyn Shore. Suspects, a former colleague and bitter rival. The two had a falling out years ago over the theft of academic data. Marcus Greaves suspects the estranged son. Rumor had it Dr. Greaves cut him off financially after a failed biotech venture. Yvette Lang suspects the maid. She discovered the body. Loyal for years, but secrets always bubble beneath service smiles. Lyle Durant suspects a tech entrepreneur, invested in Greaves' brain interface company, and recently sued for patent control. Alistair Chen suspects a magician and escape artist. Oddly, Greaves had hired him for private consultations 2 months prior. 5 people, all with potential motives, none with opportunity. Elena found Alistair Chen sitting alone in the drawing room, wearing black turtleneck and checkered socks, sipping mint tea as if he hadn't just been implicated in a murder. "You taught Dr. Greaves escapology?" she asked. "I taught him how to think like an illusionist. He was obsessed with perception versus reality. He didn't care about handcuffs. He wanted to know how to deceive the eye. Why? He said he was building something. A mental construct, a cognitive lockbox. He wanted to know what the brain couldn't unsee." Elena frowned. "What does that mean?" "Don't look at the locked room," Chen said. "Look at what the room hides." He sipped his tea, like that explained anything. Marcus Greaves arrived that afternoon, summoned from Manhattan. Tall, impatient, stubbled with anxiety. Marcus stormed into the study. "My father was paranoid, obsessed with security. Said people were trying to steal from his mind. You were estranged. He cut me out, said I was weak. A biological error. He once called me. 'Where were you last night?' 'In the city.' I can prove it. Security cams, phone, GPS. I didn't kill him, but I'm not sad he's gone either." Elena nodded. Rage was common in children of tyrants, but rage didn't fit the puzzle. Yvette, the maid, was tearful, soft-spoken. She'd worked for the doctor for over a decade. He always locked himself in after dinner. "I leave a tray outside. Last night was no different." "What was on the tray?" "Steak, potatoes, wine. Did you hear anything?" "No, just classical music from the study." As always, Elena examined the food tray, still outside the door. The wineglass was gone, likely inside, but the plate was empty. Licked clean. No poison. No unusual fingerprints. Elena was no closer to understanding how a man could be shot in a room no one entered, with a gun that had vanished. Dr. Evelyn Shore was sharp and unrepentant. Walter was brilliant but arrogant. He believed the mind could be programmed like software. Thought free will was an illusion. "You had a falling out. He stole my work, patented it under his name. I threatened to expose him." "Where were you last night?" "Lecturing at Oxford. Flight records confirm it." "Do you know what he was working on?" Yes, and it terrified me. He was building something called Project Eidolon, a cognitive construct so powerful it could simulate reality and trap you inside. Elena raised an eyebrow, like the Matrix. More like a mental locked room. One, you couldn't escape because you didn't know you were inside. Back in the study, Elena stared at the grandfather clock. Something was odd. The time on it was 6:17. She checked her watch. It was 4:22. Flynn entered. Autopsy's in, no powder burns. Which means the gun was at least 2 feet away, and there's no way he shot himself. Elena nodded absent-like. She walked to the desk. There was a coffee mug, some printed notes, a USB stick, and a pen. Then she saw it, a small mirrored cube. Reflective, about the size of a sugar cube. She picked it up. Her head spun. A sound like tinnitus buzzed in her ears. For a split second, her vision blurred and the room shifted, as if everything rotated 1 degree. She blinked. It stopped. What the hell? She inserted the USB into her laptop. Files loaded. Project_Eidolon_diagram. Cognitive illusion test.mp4 locked room protocol.txt. She opened the video. Dr. Greaves appeared. Pale, gaunt, intense. Dr. Greaves, on video. If you're watching this, I'm likely dead. Eidolon was not meant to be a weapon, but consciousness is fragile. We see what we're told to see. A locked room is just a lie your mind agrees to believe. He held up the mirrored cube. This device creates a self-reinforcing loop. Neural misdirection. Once activated, your brain stops recognizing exits even if they're right in front of you. Elena froze. He wasn't killed in a locked room. He was killed in a room that only seemed locked. Elena returned to the study. She picked up the cube. A Dande focused. The window. She walked toward it. Pressed the edge. It creaked. Not sealed. Not painted shut. An illusion. She pushed. It swung open silently. Outside, a small ledge ran beneath it, connected to a nearby drainpipe. A careful killer could have climbed out, closed the window behind them, and activated the cognitive illusion cube, making anyone entering later believe the window was never touched. What the hell did you do, Walter? She whispered. Alistair Chen met her in the garden. The cube, you gave it to him. I warned him not to use it. Who else knew how it worked? He paused. Greaves made backups. Gave one to his investor, Lyle Durant. Elena's eyes widened. Confronted, Lyle Durant confessed he was going to revoke my patent license. After I bankrolled his entire project, said I didn't understand the science. You killed him using his own invention. I used the cube. He didn't even realize the window was open. I waited outside, shot him through it with a silenced pistol, dropped the gun and a waterproof bag off the roof, then closed the window behind me. The cube did the rest. And the shell casing, I tossed it in the trash to mock him. His own mind made the perfect trap. Durant was arrested. The cube was sent to a cognitive neuroscience lab. Dangerous technology, frightening in the wrong hands. The story made headlines. Locked room, murder solved by mental illusion. Elena stood alone in the study one last time. The door behind her open, the window wide, the cube now sealed in evidence. She turned off the light and left. The room unlocked.